Hello everybody, greetings to all of you. This is Ravindran, the Director of VAJIRAM RAVI IA Study Center, New Delhi. The focus of this video talk is to address those candidates who have just taken the preliminary examination this year and suggest how to utilize the next 4.5 months before the main examination is held from October this year. By now you must have all have a fairly good assessment about the level of performance in the preliminary test, and you must have also come to a conclusion whether you are going to qualify in the examination, in the prelim exam or not. My suggestion is, whatever be your level of performance in the preliminary test, that the preliminary test is a past history. You cannot change the level of your performance in the prelims, whether you are going to qualify in the prelim exam or not. The focus of the next 4.5 months must be to prepare for the main examination. If you are lucky and going to qualify in the prelim exam, you are going to prepare for the main examination 2017. If you are unlucky and you are unlikely to qualify in the preliminary test, then you are going to prepare for the main examination 2018. There is no point thinking about the level of performance in the prelims which you cannot change now. Then further, how are you going to start your preparation? I suggest start with a subject in which you have greater levels of familiarity so that you are able to build up momentum and pick up pace and able to work for 12 to 14 hours daily. Further, my first suggestion is that you have been out of touch with your optional subject for the past nearly 5 months or so. Therefore, you should give greater attention to the preparation of your optional subject for the next 2.5 months. Of the 7 papers that are taken into consideration for your ranking, the optional subjects contribute less than 30% of the marks. But my suggestion is you give proportionately a higher percentage of time for the preparation of the optional subject at the initial stage. You may give as much as 40% of your current time in preparing for the optional subject for certain reasons. The first reason is you are out of touch with the optional subject, whereas you have been continuously in touch with your general studies, so that this is one reason. The second reason is the average score in the optional subject, if you look at in the past 4 years, has been higher than the average score in the general studies papers. For example, in 2015, the average score in general studies was about 35 to 38%. And in 2016, the average score in general studies was about 40%. Whereas in the optional subject, the average score in 2015 was as high as 45%, and in 2016 it was about 50%. So therefore, proportionately speaking, for the time you spend in preparing your optional subject, you are rewarded with a higher percentage of marks. So spending sufficient time in preparing your optional subject pays you. Moreover, the third reason why you should give little more than the necessary attention to your optional subject is the optional subject syllabus has a sense of certainty and concrete stand. It is subjective paper. The syllabus is well defined. The questions are generally asked within the subject matter. The influence of the current affairs part on the optional subject question papers is limited, and because of this, that you stand more on a firmer ground when you prepare very well for your optional subject. So for these purposes, so please pay about 40% of your present time to prepare for your optional subject. Moreover, I have seen that the candidates are more inclined to, and in fact even they have a sense of urge to prepare more and more on on general studies, especially current affairs, in the last 2 months before the main examination is held. In the month of September and October, that you have a tendency to spend more and more time preparing the general studies paper, and therefore that this is the ideal time to spend preparing your optional subject till at least August end. So therefore that the optional subject must be given priority. The next is about your essay preparation. In essay, frankly speaking, the essay has its own characteristics when it comes to writing it for the civil services examination. Generally speaking, in essay writing, the candidate's ability to express himself, organizing his ideas in a coherent and logical manner are given greater preference, importance than the knowledge that he exhibits in his essay writing. But in civil services exam, that it is the opposite. In civil services exam, knowledge is given a relatively bigger role in assessing the performance of a candidate in writing the essays. So because of this, you already have good knowledge of the general studies, current affairs and the optional subject. You'll be able to write essays well. What all you need is more of practice and the ability to develop your ideas into full-length essay. So for which, if you practice about 10 essays and write your essays and get them corrected, probably you will be well prepared for the essay. And the better you prepare your essays in the next 2.5 months, you may not have the inclination to prepare your essay papers in the month of September and October. Again, that this is the time for you to prepare your essay. Further, if you do not have a great command over the English language, my suggestion is that to play it safe while writing your essay, and my suggestion is you take up a topical essay and write. Topical essay which requires more of knowledge base to write. As far as possible, please do not take up reflective essays which need greater command over the English language. The candidate must have good exposition in explaining his points of view. For example, that essay like the sun is the father of man, it is a reflective essay. To write this kind of essays with greater sense of uncertainty is not safe for you. Of course, if you have an excellent command over the English language, then for variety's sake that if you write such essays, probably it may bring. But all said and done, such kind of reflective essays carry a greater sense of risk. Please keep these things in mind. Write at least 8 to 10 essays, practice them. Then the next is about general studies. It carries, of course, the maximum marks in the main examination. And when I suggest that give importance to your preparation of optional subject earlier, it doesn't mean that you can ignore your general studies. In fact, one cannot get into the IAS proper without scoring uniformly well in all the subjects and scoring above the average level scores in all the subjects. So because of this, you should also give due attention to your general studies preparation. But my earlier suggestion was about the timing of the preparation of your general studies. Start preparing general studies from now onwards, and you can speed up the preparation of your general studies from the month of September. Till that time, maybe just you can give about 50% of the available time in the next 2.5 months, and from September onwards, maybe you can give 60 to 70% of the time. Especially those are the 2 months where you have to speed up your preparation and complete the preparation on your current affairs part. Now, if you analyze the general studies papers, the one paper of general studies which comes closest to the optional subject in terms of nature of the syllabus, the nature of the content, that it is paper 1 which comes closer to an optional subject. There is a sense of certainty with the syllabus that you have to handle in paper 1 of general studies, especially in history, Indian history and world history, and geography, Indian geography and world geography. And because of this, paper 1 can be more rewarding, proportionate to the level of preparation that you have put in. Generally speaking, that you may not be disappointed with your score. Therefore, give due attention and prepare your first paper thoroughly. It is social issues part in paper 1 that requires more of your current affairs knowledge, but otherwise your bookish knowledge to a large extent should help you to score well in paper 1. Further, if you look at the past records, that the average score in paper 1 of general studies is above the average score of general studies as a whole. So one can score 100 to 120 marks in paper 1, whereas the normal score is about 400 in general studies as a whole. So therefore it can be more rewarding. Then the next one is paper 2 of general studies. The paper 2 of general studies probably is the least scoring among the 4 papers of general studies. Right from 2013, that this paper of general studies is less scoring. The reason could be that there is a heavy application of current affairs in almost all the 3 parts of general studies paper 2. That Indian polity part, it is current. The governance area is also almost current, and international relations, of course, it involves the current knowledge. This could be one of the reasons that there is greater sense of uncertainty associated with paper 2's preparation. Most candidates are not quite certain about the way that they can prepare paper 2. Moreover, in my view, in paper 2, there is also a sense of surprise that the UPSC brings in more often. For example, in 2016, that there were 4 questions asked from the bookish part of the Indian polity, and they took the students by surprise when they were expecting more of current related questions. So because of this, that you must be quite thorough in preparing both the textbook from the textbooks and also from the current affairs insofar as paper 2 is concerned. Then the area to be covered in your international relations is also very vast, but the number of questions asked unfortunately had been not too many. So last year there were only just about 4 questions from international relations. My suggestion is you pay more attention to India and her neighbors, of course without compromising on the preparation over the entire international relations. Then what comes is paper 3 of general studies, and in fact in all the 4 papers of general studies, one of the most reliable portions is that Indian economy part. So this has not disappointed the candidates if they are well prepared in terms of marks. If a candidate is very meticulous, if he has been quite thorough, and if he is systematic in the preparation of his Indian economy part, and if he has covered all the current developments in the recent past thoroughly, then he is likely to be rewarded well in Indian economy. This is one of the high scoring portions of your general studies, that you can be quite certain about the labor that you put in, because it will be adequately rewarded. So please prepare your Indian economy comprehensively and thoroughly. Don't leave out any portions, especially keeping the current developments. But of course, science and technology and security issues have a good dose of current affairs to be applied. But paper 3 overall is a very reliable paper. The scoring is above average marks in the general studies as a whole. Then the next is about paper 4, that is the ethics paper. So it is more subjective as compared to the other 3 papers of general studies. The range of score among the students is also fluctuates widely. Few students score very less marks, and few students score very high marks. So because of this, the subjectivity associated with this, you have to be quite careful while preparing for this paper. In fact, this paper requires less preparation and more practice. It is more and more practice, and your exposure to the past year's question papers especially the case studies and the kind of other case studies that you can get in the market, and the practice of these case studies and a general knowledge about the various aspects of ethics portions included, they will reward you with good marks in this paper. Have more practice while preparing your paper 4. Now the next aspect of this is what about the practice, answer writing practice for the main examination. One thing I have observed, the single most important factor which will contribute to a student's success in the main examination is his ability to write answers for all or almost all the questions in general studies and in the optional subjects. If a candidate fails to answer 3 or more questions in each of the general studies papers and 1 or 2 questions in the optional subject, his chances of success in the main examination are very limited. And since you have to write answers for 20 questions, each extending over 200 words, you have to write 4,000 words in 3 hours. And if a candidate prepares his subject to a level where he has to think, write, so they start, stop, write out. The system of writing answers for the main examination will not help a candidate to complete answering all the 20 questions or almost all the 20 questions. Because of this, your preparation must be extremely thorough. The facts and figures and the analytical part of your knowledge must all be at your fingertips, where you must be able to write without thinking much. Such must be the command over the subject matter that you should possess, which will help you to write answers for all the questions or almost all the questions. So please keep this in mind, and thus that you need to have heavy practice in writing the answers. It is in this regard, I believe that you must take certain test series and write answers in a regular manner. The test series not only helps you to regulate your preparation, to bring you into a kind of regularity with your studies, but it also exposes your ignorance in your preparation and helps you to fill up these gaps in your preparation. And on a weekly basis or on a fortnightly basis, that the test series tells you that these are the topics for which that you have to prepare, and you can take this exam under examination conditions that helps you. However, what is the number of test series that you should join? My suggestion is, please do not join test series for all the 3 subjects: essay, general studies and optional subject. If you do so within a short period of 3 months, that you will be preparing only for the weekly tests, which are held week after week, and you will have hardly any time to add new knowledge to your existing knowledge. If you are constantly taking tests, then it means that you are only revising the portions which you have already prepared. You are only revising the knowledge that you have already gathered, and you are not in a position to gather new knowledge. Especially the current affairs, since it has to be kept up to date, up to at least till September end, this will seriously restrict your additional knowledge that you have to improve. So because of this, my suggestion is, please don't join a test series for more than 2 subjects at this stage. Especially if you are going to take the main examination for the first time, you definitely need that answer writing practice in a regulated manner, but limit your answer writing practice to not more than 2 subjects. Preferably for general studies and the optional subject, whereas for essay, you can prepare as much as you can on your own. So in this manner that you will be able to balance your preparation, develop greater knowledge, and write effortlessly your answers in the exam. I also suggest that you keep in touch with your other friends senior friends and the teachers, because these interactions always help you to get more clarity and also to better insight into the issues that you have to prepare. Well, after having met about 250 students or so and assessing their performance in the recently concluded preliminary test, that and on the basis of their expected score, we will be able to estimate that what would be the cutoff marks for this year's preliminary test. And please wait till the time, maybe it will take about 1 week to 10 days after this exam has been concluded, and that will give you a greater sense of hold over your preparation. But again, to repeat my first point, that whether a candidate qualifies in the prelims or not, the only course that is open to all of you who have taken the preliminary test is to prepare for the main examination for the next 4.5 months. Either a candidate is preparing for this year's main examination or he is preparing for next year's main examination. The other things can wait. Those candidates who unfortunately could not perform well in the prelims exam, please do not waste your time the next 4.5 months. Strengthen your chances of success for the next attempt by preparing for your next year's main examination. And even presuming that your position is like a cat on the wall like of situation, my suggestion is start preparing. I have come across large number of candidates who presume that they would not qualify in the prelim exam and wasted away the next 2 months, and when the prelim results were announced, they were surprised to find their number in the merit list, and instead of feeling happy that they have qualified against their expectations in the prelims, they felt so miserable because they lost 2 months of quite valuable time to get ready for the main examination. It is your duty to start preparing for the main examination, irrespective of the level of performance that you had achieved in the preliminary test. So get started, and my best wishes for your success in this exam. Good luck. Thank you very much.